last night, we saw the opportunity for life transformation, even though sometimes if you are in Australia here as an international student, I know that the life is very difficult because with my wife, we came here as international students and we experienced the life of an international student. We studied, we worked. I was working as a cleaner, my wife was working as a cleaner. During our holidays, we were working full time. I was working as a cleaner, I was working as kitchen hand, I was frying chips, doing cleaning toilets and all those sort of things. And when you become an engineer, you validate your qualification here. It opens up doors for other opportunities. And there's nothing wrong with working with delivery or cleaning or kitchen hand, etc. But as an engineer, I'm pretty sure that you want to work as an engineer. And if you're going to start a family, I'm pretty sure that, like me, we started a family here with our little daughter she was born here. We wanted to provide her a very nice environment for her to grow up as well, safe, and also without a lot of worries in terms of work. We also saw the pathways to validate for overseas qualified engineers. There are different pathways that overseas trained engineers they can follow depending on where they graduated and when they graduated. But majority of you guys, if not all of you, it's going to be the CDR pathway, the competency demonstration report. And last night we also saw the 6 steps of the CDR, competency demonstration report. And we also had a look at the International Engineering Alliance, because some of the pathways, they can follow the Washington Accord, the Sydney Accord, and the Dublin Accord. So we also spoke about the International Engineering Alliance. One thing that I didn't mention to you guys, one thing that I didn't mention to you guys last night about International Engineering Alliance is that when you become a chartered professional engineer here in Australia, because of the International Engineering Alliance, you can actually go to those countries that are signatories of those accords. And if you want to kind of change maybe countries, and you are like me, I'm a CPeng, chartered professional engineer here in Australia. My family heritage is in Japan. If I want to work as an engineer in Japan, I can, because I am a chartered professional engineer here in Australia, and because of the Washington Accord and everything else, I can go there in Japan and register myself as a chartered professional engineer in Japan without having to validate my qualification. So that's one advantage of being a chartered professional engineer. So there are 24, 25 countries in the world that they are signatories to the Washington Accord. So obviously, if you are in Australia here, you are probably in one of the best countries in the world to work as an engineer, to live, having the work-life balance, a very good quality of living here already. But you never know. So what are we going to see tonight in live number 2? I'm going to have a chat and we're going to do a little bit of tutorial of the Migration Skills Assessment booklet from Engineers Australia. Just a second. There is, I think, you started waiting for permissions in here, waiting to be accepted. No, I've accepted everybody. I'm just going, I think they are in the wrong meeting. Just a second, guys. Yeah. All right. I think yeah, there are a few people waiting in probably in the wrong meeting room. All right. Yeah, they were. So we're going to have a look at the migration skills assessment booklet. And I'm going to talk about the migration skills assessment booklet. We're going to do a little bit of tutorial. We're going to visit the booklet and some of the important parts of it. Also, we're going to then start looking at the CDR reports, the three types of reports that we'll see tonight. One is CPD, Continuing Professional Development, and I'm going to give you 6 practical examples of the CPD events, the professional development events that you can use in your CPD. We also tonight going to see the career episodes, which is what I say here in Australia and in English. That's the guts of the validation process. So the career episodes are going to be the reports that you have to write to demonstrate all the competencies that Engineers Australia will require you to prove. And also we're going to talk about the summary statement. Summary statement, in my view, is probably the most difficult report to write. It can be quite long as well. A lot of people, they think that summary statement is fairly short and not very difficult, but in my view, the summary statement is the most difficult report that you will write, and I will explain you why. Also, I'm going to talk about the risks of plagiarism. Plagiarism, and I'm going to give you some examples of the things that can put you in trouble if you do those things. I receive many messages from engineers saying that they got caught by Engineers Australia, and Engineers Australia imposed a banning period, some 1 year, others 3 years, because they made the wrong decision, and they ended up getting caught, and Engineers Australia obviously caught them and banned them because of plagiarism. I'm not here, we are all adults here, and when I talk about plagiarism, you do what you want to do. I'm not here to lecture anyone. I'm just here to alert you about the risks and consequences of plagiarism here. And also, we're going to then finishing tonight with the Engineers Australia internal review process. That is when your application is not quite, doesn't really have the result that you are expecting, and then you can apply for an internal review. So there are a couple of processes there. So that's what you're going to see tonight in live number 2. And welcome others that I don't know, maybe you were in the other meeting room from last night, maybe, but luckily I think was Arnel. I saw a message coming in WhatsApp that you guys waiting, and I thought, well, I had approved everybody, so somebody probably it was in the wrong meeting room, but it's all good. Okay, so the migration skills assessment booklet. Write in the comments. Let's start our participation and engagement. Again, I'm going to repeat. The more you participate, And the more you engage, the more you will learn. Sometimes you open your Microsoft Teams, you enter the meeting, but if you open another tab, another website, etc., you may miss out information and then you're not going to learn. And my objective here in this workshop is that you learn the whole process, everything that you need to know, so you can start preparing, planning your application to become an engineer tomorrow. So, migration skills assessment booklet. Write in the chat, yes or no. Have you read the booklet already? Very simple question, simple answer, yes or no. Have you read the migration skills assessment booklet from Engineers Australia? And there's nothing wrong if you haven't. If you didn't, it's not a problem. We can go through it tonight. We're not going to read the whole booklet, but I'm going to show you where you can find it, the important parts of it, and also the links that we'll be opening up. Okay, so yeah, really no, 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 yes, no, yes, no, no. Yeah, good. Yes, yeah, there is a good mix of people that you've read and you haven't. Those ones that read the booklet, I'm going to ask another question. How many times did you read the booklet? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Because it's you will see why I'm asking you this question. Yeah, Beluz says I'm reading it always. Yeah, good. Because the migration skills assessment booklet from Engineers Australia, if you're really serious about becoming an engineer in Australia, it's going to become your bedside reading book. And you will see why. And you need to read it between 5 and 10 times. And I'm not joking. Literally, you need to read it between 5 and 10 times. And read with attention. Read like you read a book. I'm not really very good at reading. I don't like reading. I try to read books, but yeah, it's not my thing. So, but when I read it, I had to learn how to read, of course, and you need to read in the right way, you know, with a highlighter. You highlight the important parts of it, you take notes, you repeat and read again the highlighted parts. You talk to somebody about what you read in your booklet. You discuss with somebody, you ask questions. If there are expressions or terminologies or words that you don't understand, especially because obviously it's in English, you ask the question until you know. Sorry guys, I think I forgot to start recording. So because I'm going to put in my website, so I'm going to start recording. So if you're not comfortable in being recorded, obviously, yeah, it's up to you. But if you're not comfortable, you can then watch the replay later on when I post in the workshop hub. Yeah, Got to change the setups to start recording automatically so I don't forget it. Okay, so Migration Skills Assessment Booklet. It's your bedside reading book. You need to read 5 to 10 times, especially when you start opening the summary statement competencies. You will start reading those competencies, and then you will see that there will be some of the competencies that you're going to be asking yourself, what does that mean? Because and we will see tonight in the summary statement. Okay. So we need to understand each section of the booklet. And this is the booklet. So I'm going to open here. I just need to make sure that I will share that screen with you guys. Okay. Where is that? Can you guys see the Engineers Australia page? So hopefully you can. Yeah. Thanks, Anna. All right, so let's go to the beginning. When you go to Engineers Australia webpage, you need to go here to the menu and then go for migrants. When you go here for migrants, you go to the Migration Skills Assessment page. And then in here, it's a very interesting exercise. There's even checking your qualification, what sort of a pathway you need to do. So I encourage you guys to try all of these links. It's got the categories, the assessment pathways, and there's a quiz here. It's going to tell you which pathway you want to go. So we can do one here. Let's see, somebody in the chat, the first one that puts the country of graduation and the year of graduation, we can put in here. So Ryan, oh, you're very quick. UK 2017. Select your qualification. Your country is a full signatory of the Washington Accord. Let's have a look if UK, I think it is, Washington Accord. Washington Accord. Signatories, UK, United Kingdom. Yeah, represented by Engineer Council United Kingdom, 1989. So if you graduated in UK in 2017, so the country is a full signatory of the Washington Accord. My qualifications obtained the same year or after the country became a signatory to the relevant accord. So UK became in 1989 a full signatory. And because you graduated in 2017, the answer is yes. So my qualification is listed as fully accredited according to signatory and the date. Yes. Next. I want to be assessed according to the degree title and course content. Yes. And then you submit. So it says here that you can apply under the Washington Accord pathway. What do you say? So I have a BEng honors degree in electrical engineering, but the course I did isn't listed as either Sydney or Washington Accord. Well, that can happen. Yeah, that can happen because the course needs to be accredited by Engineers Australia. So obviously, I don't know what course you did and what institution. So if the course that you did is not accredited by Engineers Australia as part of the Washington Accord, unfortunately, you will have to do the CDR. But you can try the quiz here. And then the booklet is under here, prepare your application. So when you go to prepare your application, there's a link here, prepare your migration skills assessment application, and that's going to open a PDF. So you open that PDF here, and it's always important, guys, to always check what is the latest version of the booklet, because sometimes they keep changing, and you don't want to use an old version. So this is the latest one, was issued in July 2022. And in the booklet, you will find everything that I'm covering in this workshop. Obviously, all the important information, it's from Engineers Australia website. I'm here to do a little bit of interpretation, digest a little bit more, share my experience, and some of the hints and tips that obviously it's not in the booklet. So you will see that Engineers Australia, they put in the very first page here, ethical standards, and that's about plagiarism. So we're going to cover that later tonight. It talks about the English language requirements that we covered last night. So the 3 types of English tests that you can do, IELTS, TOEFL, PTE, the minimum scores for each of those tests, and also the validity, which is 3 years of the date that you took the test. There are some English language test exemptions, obviously. If you fulfill those ones, it's good. Majority probably not going to fulfill those requirements. If you don't fulfill those exemption requirements, you need to obviously do your English test. You can combine test results as we saw yesterday. And hey, Carla, yeah, it's not that different. Probably, yeah, it's not that different. I think it's just they did a little bit of revision, and the only difference is that when you print this PDF, it doesn't print with the 50 pages of the 2020 version. The 2020 version has all contents in there. Here, when you print this one, it's going to print much less than 50 pages. What happens is that when you open those links, it will open another page, and then the links will be opening another page. If you print all those pages that the links are going to open, you're probably going to be with the same version of the 2020 version. But the content is pretty much the same. So here, yeah, there are the different pathways. And then it talks about the CDR report, the documentation that is required that we covered last night. It talks about the career episode, talks about the summary statement. Obviously, we're going to visit this link tonight as well about the summary statement. And then it talks about how you can validate your PhD if you have one, the documents required for the RSEA, the Relevant Skilled Employment Assessment, and if you were an employee, and here also if you were a self-employed. So that is pretty much the booklet, but obviously it will, all those links, it will open up different documents. But I encourage you guys to start reading page by page, and when there is a link, you open that link. So you read there, and then you will find a link. There's an occupation category. So click on that link, and then read that document. It talks about the professional engineer, you know, those 4 categories that we talked yesterday. So every time that there's a link, make sure that you open those links, because it's really important that you read everything with a lot of attention. Okay. All right. I'll put that link in the comment, so you have link to the latest version of the booklet. And then we're going back to I just got a question in YouTube. Say hi, Philip. Would you like to join MS Teams? The link is in the description. All right, I'll share again our PowerPoint. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed the little tutorial about the booklet. And again, you will need to read the booklet really seriously and many, many times, especially when it comes to the competencies. Okay, so now let's assume that you've read the booklet 5 times, and you now understand what you need to do, and you've done your personal information, you know already what category you're going to apply. You're going to apply, let's say, professional engineer. You know your occupation, let's say civil engineer, and you have already your academic documentation, your bachelor degree certificate, your academic transcripts, any specialization that you did or post-graduation certificates. It's all translated by an authorized translator. You've got already your evidences of skilled employment, your reference letters from your employers, and then you're going to go to the next phase, which is to obviously prepare your CPD. I say that, but you don't need to do everything in order. You can do in parallel, obviously. The only thing that you cannot really do in parallel is your summary statement. Summary statement, I encourage you guys to do once you put together your career episodes. But the CPD is your continuing professional development. And it's important to highlight why is it necessary to have a CPD. Why is Engineers Australia asking you to prepare continuing professional development report. Engineers Australia is wanting to make sure that after you graduated, you kept yourself updated, up to date with the good practices, with innovations, with technology, with the standards of your engineering field. So that's the reason why, especially for those ones that graduated, let's say 5, 10, 15 years ago. For those more senior engineers like me, Engineers Australia wants to make sure that you are keeping yourself refreshed. And how do you do this? You do that by keeping your CPD, continuing professional development. As a chartered professional engineer here in Australia, I am obliged to keep a minimum of 150 hours of CPD for the last 3 years. But that is a requirement for chartered professional engineers. For the validation process, there is no minimum CPD hours. Oh, yeah, Jerson, but why is there a minimum for CPH, chartered professional engineers, and not a minimum CPD for engineers that want to be validated? CPD events are after graduation. Remember what I said yesterday. To validate your engineering qualification in Australia, you don't need to have work experience. You can graduate, and then as soon as you graduate, you can apply for your validation. If you apply for your validation as soon as you graduated, you're not going to have time to do CPD. Let's say you graduate in January and then you start applying in February. Between January and February, you didn't have enough time to do your CPD events, your learning events, your development events. So that's why there's no minimum. And Engineers Australia, if you are a fresh graduate, we understand because they will see that you just graduated and therefore you're not going to have a lot of CPD. However, if you graduated 10 years ago, you will need to demonstrate to Engineers Australia that over the years you refreshed yourself. And there are different ways that you can demonstrate that. So to start, I'm going to ask you to put together a table or a spreadsheet. Very simple. Let's see if I can. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but let me see here. So what you need to do, and I will ask you to do it today or tomorrow. Just create a table, 5 columns, and let's say, yeah, this many rows. And then what you need to do, just need to put the title, date, duration, venue, and organizer. And start it today because you can start putting things, obviously, that you remember, but more importantly, the things that you're going to be doing from today. So let's say that you go to an Engineers Australia webinar. So Engineers Australia, they have like a webinar about CPD. They actually have a webinar about CPD. It's free of charge. I'll show you here how you can access that. So the seminar is called, I think, CPD for engineers. let's say. So that's the title of your CPD event. And let's say, just pretending that it was today, the 20th of May, 2024. And it ran for 1 hour. So 1 hour. And the venue was a webinar. And the organizer was Engineers Australia. And that's it. That's one line of your CPD. And you're not going to forget about it. So once you do your CPD event, go to the table, add another line. Because in 3, 4, 5, or 6 months, when you are putting together your validation documentation, you will need your CPD. And if you keep feeding your table every time that you do your CPD, when it comes to the putting together all the documentation, your CPD report is already done. So make sure that you have just one page, A4, can be in this sort of a format, and just put a nice title here, CPD, Continuing Professional Development for Jerry Ida. Yeah, your name. So what type of events can you actually do and actually use for your CPD? I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. So these are the type of events that potentially you can use as your CPD. Post-graduation courses, any course that you did after you graduated. It could be a specialization, it could be a graduate certificate, it could be a graduate diploma, it could be a master's degree, it could be your English course that you're doing here in Australia. If you're doing a certificate 4 or a diploma or an advanced diploma, associate degree, if you're doing TAFE, if you're doing a VET, obviously, which is related to your engineering, you can use as a CPD event. Yeah, Jerson, but what about a diploma in business? I came to Australia and I'm doing a diploma of business. Can I use that diploma of business in my CPD? I'd say that you can. If you read the booklet and the competencies, you saw that there are some competencies that are related to business management. And if Engineers Australia is asking you to demonstrate some competencies in business management as part of your validation process, I'd say that your diploma of business is relevant. You can put in your CPD event. You just need to make sure that in your list of CPD events, majority of the professional development is about engineering. It's not a problem to have some project management, some business, even some marketing, finance, other learnings that you did. But majority of the CPD events should be in your engineering field. Another type of CPD event that you can use are conferences as presenter or participant. So if you presented or if you participated in conferences, you can use in there as well. Other types of CPDs could be workshop, courses, seminars, discussion groups, technical inspections, or technical visits. So if you did, it's important to understand anything that helped you to learn and to develop your engineering, your professional engineering competencies. So even a technical visit, if you do a site visit, or if you go to a plant, a manufacturing plant, and you visit, and then you learned something, it's good. you can put in there. I did a technical visit to the recycling plant and I learned that, sorry. And I learned by visiting that recycling plant that the maintenance was done every 3 hours or whatever. Whatever you learned in your field, you can include as your CPD. Also, preparation, presentation of course material, conferences, and symposiums. This course material, even when you, as an engineer, if you delivered a project and then if there was some engineering learnings, and after the project is finished, if you did a learnings workshop with your colleagues, you can use that as your CPD. Let's say that you're an electrical engineer and then you deliver a project to replace, let's say, sodium vapor lamps by LED lamps when you did your street lighting design. So you can share the learnings about that in terms of voltage and savings and lumens and whatever it was the learnings of that project. So when you prepare the presentation and then you share your knowledge with your colleagues, what went wrong, what went right, and what didn't really go very right. These are the learnings, and that is part of your CPD event. Another type could be services to the engineering profession, usually volunteering services. For example, I'll give my example. When I am appointed as a peer review for chartered professional engineers with Engineers Australia, when I help Engineers Australia as a volunteer to assess applications of engineers, that is my time as a volunteer. I'm helping the engineering profession. And actually, Engineers Australia sends me a letter saying that I can use, I think it's 5 or 8 hours of CPD in that category of services to the engineering profession. So that's, if you did a volunteering work as an engineer, or if you participate in a board of engineers or something like that, you can use that as your CPD event. And also your private study, including technical books, technical magazines, technical journals, manuals, technical specifications, technical standards, legislation about, for example, safety, legislation about environmental legislation. So all those readings you can use as part of your CPD. When you attend those webinars with Engineers Australia, there are lots and lots of webinars that are free in Engineers Australia. I'm going to show you here how you can find it. Yeah, there are just a few questions here. Art is asking, is it applicable to me with a safety background? Sorry, Art, is that the question about the CPD? The other question is, do I have to provide evidence of the courses document? Do I need to translate these documents with a native NATI? Or can I mention if I do not have it? That's a good question, Belu. You don't need to attach copies of your certificates. Let's say that you're going to put a course, even short courses. If you did like a Revit AutoCAD course, you don't need to send a copy of the certificate. The only thing is that if you haven't done it, don't put it, because Engineers Australia, at their discretion, they can ask to see the copy of the certificate. They usually don't, but depending on the assessor, they might ask. They can send you an email saying, "Can you please provide evidences of your CPD?" So when you're doing a site visit, you can print the calendar entry of your site visit. When you obviously have a course, is either your certificate of attendance or your certificate of attainment, certificate of completion. So, but usually they don't ask copies of your certificate, and you don't need to send copies of your certificates together with your CDR application. Ryan's asking, I wonder the same. Sorry, guys. I wonder the same, as my degree is in engineering, but my professional experience has all been within the security industry since qualifying. Yes. So in that case, what I suggest you to do, if since you graduated, you ended up working in a totally different industry that has nothing to do with your engineering, I suggest you to start accruing your CPD from now. So create that list and start accruing your CPD from now. I'm going to share with you in the Engineers Australia website how you can actually find those webinars and events. So when you go to Engineers Australia website, you can go here to the menu and then learning and events. Events, webinars, and courses. And then let's say you go to webinars. And there are quite different webinars here. Let's say here the one about CPD. Where are the ones about CPD? Because usually they are free. Continuing professional development for engineers. So there's one coming up 10th of July. It's a webinar and it's free. It's free for members, free for students, and free for non-members as well. You just need to register and it will give you 1 hour of CPD. And there are a few others here. Let's say that's important ones. Mandatory registration in Victoria. There is the one here, mandatory registration in Queensland. Training and professional development in cybersecurity. There's quite interesting events. I saw another one. That's for probably civil engineers, and it's free as well. Free for members, free for non-members as well, 19th of June. So it's going to talk about the reinforced soils, pretty much how you kind of retain embankments. So for civil engineers, it's going to be 2.5 hours in a webinar. So Engineers Australia website is a very good source of CPD. Okay. Going back to our PowerPoint. Lynn is saying, so I also have an electrical engineer degree, but my CPDs is all related to production engineer. Well, if you graduated, you have a dual degree, production engineer and electrical engineer. You need to first decide which occupation you're going to validate. If you're going to validate as electrical engineer, or if you're going to validate as production engineer. And then obviously your CPD, you build your CPD according to obviously the one that you're going to be validating. So if I have evidence, must be translated by ANATI or not necessary. The booklet is specific in saying that you need to translate by an authorized translator. It doesn't really say NATI. Obviously, NATI is an authorized translator here in Australia, but you can use the authorized translator from your home country. So not everybody is obliged to use a NATI translator. So if you're going to translate in your home country, you just need to make sure that it is an authorized translator and you've got the identification ID, contact details, and obviously title of that translator. All right, so that is about the CPD. Not a difficult document, just one page in a table or list format, and you can use those types of CPD events. The next report that we're going to look at are the career episodes. The career episodes is a second type of the reports. And a career episode is an account of your engineering education and work experience. Each career episode focuses upon a specific period or distinct aspect of your engineering activity. And each career episode, you need to write 3 in total, must focus on a different period or aspect of your engineering activity. Each episode should focus on how you applied your engineering knowledge and skills in the nominated occupation. So that's important. Why are they asking you to focus on a different period or aspect of your engineering activity? Because they want to know, obviously, your progression as an engineer. If you're going to write everything about just one period, it's probably going to be repetitive. It's going to be pretty much the same experience. So especially if you are graduated for a little while, they expect you to grab one experience in one period, another experience from a different period, so you have a variety of experiences. But sometimes, even though you are graduated for many years, sometimes you are working just in the same position for many years and you're doing the same thing. If that is the case, well, then obviously you have to use what you have. If you have like 10 years of experience and for the last 10 years you've been doing the same thing, well, you got to use the same thing, the same experience. You will probably, if you use an older experience for the newer, you will need to include probably the variances in terms of technology, in terms of the way that you did things. And you may base your career episode upon an engineering task undertaken as part of your educational program, a project you have worked on or currently working on, and a specific position that you occupied or currently occupy. In this case, the career episode must comprise more than a mere duty statement. Or a particular engineering problem that you were required to solve. I particularly like the last one, when you have an engineering problem and then you solved that problem using your engineering skills, competencies, and judgment. So I think it becomes very logic the way that you're going to describe how you solved that engineering problem. So I think if I was you, I would try to think about an engineering problem that you had to solve. There's just a comment here, a question about the CPD still. Does my safety training count as CPD? Secondly, do I need to create the CPD myself or use the template downloaded from the Engineers Australia website? You can create your own template. It's not really mandatory to use Engineers Australia template. The only template that I advise you to use online is the summary statement from Engineers Australia. And your safety training does count as CPD. For any engineer, whatever type of engineer you are, safety is always important. If you are a mining engineer, civil engineer, mechanical, production, environmental, electrical, electronics, whatever, safety is always important, and safety is very present in the competencies that you need to demonstrate. So if you did a safety training, certainly I would put that in your CPD. Yeah, this observation here is in the booklet. Career episodes must be based on work conducted personally by you and must be written entirely in your own words. Presenting work conducted by others as your own and or using other people's words, templates, career episodes, online sources, etc., is considered plagiarism and is a violation of Engineers Australia Code of Ethics. This carries significant penalties, including the rejection of the application, imposition of up to 36 months ban, and or reporting of your details to the Department of Home Affairs for further investigation and action. So that is about plagiarism. And I understand that, if you Google CDR, there will be lots and lots of CDR writers, professional writers. You just send them your resume and that's it. They will write the CPD, the career episodes, and the summary statement for you. And they will promise that you're not going to be caught by plagiarism. But I had already many engineers that already contacted me asking for help. They've engaged those professional writers and still they got caught by plagiarism. And even though they had a report saying that it was plagiarism free. But Engineers Australia has a very advanced software. People use Turnitin and those sort of softwares, but Engineers Australia has a very powerful software, I can tell you. Because even those reports that were written plagiarism free, they got caught by Engineers Australia. And I know that Engineers Australia is also obviously introducing how to detect artificial intelligence as well, because Chat GPT is here and you can ask many, many things. So be careful, because you don't want, if you want to migrate to Australia, you don't want to start with the wrong foot here and be banned by Engineers Australia. And when they say that they're going to report your details to the Department of Home Affairs, Department of Home Affairs is the department of the Australian government that processes all the visa applications. And one of the tests is character test for any visa application. And if Engineers Australia is sending your details to the Department of Home Affairs, it's because probably you failed your character with Engineers Australia. It's unethical behavior to do plagiarism. And if you're going to apply for a visa in the future, if you have an observation that you were rejected with Engineers Australia, it could, I'm not saying it will, but I'm saying that it could influence if your visa application is going to be approved or not approved. So just be careful about that. So the risk of plagiarism. And again, you are all adults. You do whatever you want. If you want to pay somebody to write for you, it's up to you. You know the consequences. People ask me, Gerson, do you write career episodes? No, I don't. One, because it's unethical behavior. And when I signed up with Engineers Australia, I signed up to the Engineers Australia Code of Ethics. And that's another reading that you can include in your CPD. Read, just put Code of Ethics, Engineers Australia, you'll find the latest version. Read the Code of Ethics of Engineers Australia and include in your CPD as well. And it says that you cannot do unethical behavior. So just be careful, guys, because the people that rang me asking for help, it was not pretty to talk with them because they were really desperate. They couldn't apply for their validation. They had to do other things and try to, some people even went back to their home country because their plans were ruined in terms of immigration. So what are the things that potentially can give you plagiarism? Using online templates, engaging CDR writers, asking someone else to write your reports, asking someone to translate your reports to English. Yeah, Gerson, but I wrote the report myself, but I wrote in my native language. Let's say I'm from Brazil, I speak Portuguese. I can write my report in Portuguese so I can have a better flow of thinking, so I can write better. But I need to translate into English myself. The booklet says that the report must be written in English, and that's going to be used as part of the assessment of your communication skills as well. So if you write the report in your own language, and then you ask a translator or somebody else to translate into English, even if you use Google Translator, it's not your own words. And because it's not your own words, it's plagiarism. So just be careful with that. Google Translator, Grammarly, those softwares. Softwares, they leave a DNA. So the raw data will tell Engineers Australia that it was translated by a software. So just be careful with that. Don't do that because it can give you trouble. Also using photos, pictures from the internet without citing the source. The advice that I give to my students and to you guys as well, don't use pictures from the internet unless you really need to use that picture. Let's say that you worked in a company and you don't have a photo of a particular equipment, and that equipment is very important in your career episode, and you don't have a photo that you took it. But there's a picture on the company's internet website. And then you want to do a print screen and include in your career episode. I would advise you to avoid that until you can. But if you really need to put that photo or that picture, just put in the legend that picture was taken from the company's website, and you're using just to reference whatever you want to reference. Don't say it's that you took it or leave it without any legend. You need to give credits for whom the credit is due. So if the photo came from the company's website, you need to make clear in the legend underneath the photo that the photo was taken from the company's website. If you don't put anything, you are saying that it was you, and it was not you. Engineers Australia can identify where the picture is from. Another, obviously, using somebody else's career episode as example. I know that in many Facebook groups, people try to help and they say, yes, hey, I was approved by Engineers Australia. And for those that need a little bit of help, I'm leaving my career episodes in the files in the group. And then they say, but don't use it because of plagiarism. It's just to give an idea. Obviously, their intention is good. They want to help. They want to help you. And a lot of you guys probably asked if anybody has any example. But if they really want to help, they should be doing something else, not just giving the example there, because that's not helping. I've seen some people that just use as an example, and they wrote in a different way. You know, writing, but just changing the words. It doesn't work like that. Engineers Australia will catch as plagiarism, especially if it is a career episode that they have it already. So imagine I send my career episode to Engineers Australia. They approve it. And then I put my career episode that was approved in a Facebook group. And then you grab it as an example, and then you write and then just change a few little things. Engineers Australia has already my file, and they feed in their plagiarism software. You send your report, they compare to that one there. It will give 30, 40, 50%, 70% plagiarism, and you're done. Okay? There's a question there. Can I write one of my career episodes as a project officer, though I'm nominating to be evaluated as plant production engineer? While including other career episodes as production engineer, the third CDI will be my project during my undergraduate studies. Yeah, that's a good question. Depends what were the activities that you did as a project officer. You need to understand that Engineers Australia is assessing your skills and competencies as an engineer. If you worked as a project officer, but your activities were from like an engineer, that's okay. But if you worked as a project officer and your activities were as a project officer, not even a project manager, I don't believe you'll be able to demonstrate the competencies required by Engineers Australia for that career episode. And if you don't address the competencies, especially the technical competencies, to that level, professional engineer level, Engineers Australia will probably going to ask you to rewrite that particular career episodes. Okay, so this is the risks of plagiarism. So just obviously alerting you of the risks. And then let's say that you complete your submission, and then you receive a feedback from Engineers Australia, and the feedback is not quite the one that you wanted. You applied, let's say, for example, you applied to be validated as a professional engineer, and they, after a feedback and your return, they approve you as engineering technologist or an associate, engineering associate, a level or 2 levels below professional engineer. And you didn't like it because you wanted to be validated as a professional engineer. In that case, you're not happy, you can ask them for an internal review. Or even if they reject and they don't approve you, or if they catch you by plagiarism, you can apply for an internal review. So this review will cost you $335.50, including GST if you are here in Australia, until the end of June. From 1 July, it's going to have a little bit of an increase. The review is going to be conducted by an independent assessor, may take up to 8 weeks, according to Engineers Australia website, and the time frame is within 3 months of receiving the assessment outcome. And then let's say that you apply for this internal review, and then you get a result saying that not after the review, we're going to keep our decision, whatever that was the first decision, and you're still not happy. And then you can apply for an appeal, a formal review. That's going to cost you more, $638, including GST, until the end of June. After that, it's going to increase a little bit. The appeal is conducted by an independent review panel. The time frame is within 6 months of receiving the assessment outcome and may take 3 months or more, depending obviously how busy are the panel. And you can just apply for the appeal after you receive an unsuccessful review outcome. And the outcome of an appeal is final. I think they mention final in terms of the administrative processes. You can go to, I think, to the court and then go to the judicial process, but that's probably, you need to talk with a lawyer then. But in terms of the Engineers Australia administrative processes, the result of the appeal is final. And obviously, it's going to demand your time, effort, money, stress, and you need to find out what you're going to do then. All right. Okay, so I reserved the most difficult to the end, the summary statement. So summary statement is the third type of report that you need to write. And there are 16 competencies to be addressed, regardless of the category that you're going to be applying for. If you're going to apply for professional engineer or technologist or engineering associate, they all have 16 competencies. They change in complexity. Obviously, professional engineer is very complex. The technologist is less complex, and the engineering associate is less complex. But they all have 16 competencies to be addressed. For each competency, you need to number the paragraphs in the career episode. Yes, I forgot to mention that. When you're writing your career episode, and there is a little bit of a structure. I was going to mention tomorrow in the hints and tips, but there's a little bit of a structure. You start with an introduction, and the introduction of the career episode is going to be about 50 to 150 words. The career episode itself, it's between 1,000 and 2,500 words. So I usually advise my students to write close to the maximum number of words, 2,500 words each career episode. And that's going to be between 20 and 30 paragraphs. And when you're writing your career episode, you need to number each paragraph. For example, if it is your career episode number 1, paragraph 1, the first paragraph is going to be 1.1. So 1.1 means career episode number 1, paragraph number 1. And you obviously paragraph number 2 will be 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, and subsequently numbering. So career episode number 1, paragraph number 20 will be 1.20. Career episode 2, paragraph 13 will be 2.13. Career episode number 3, paragraph number 8 will be 3.8. And why is that important to number each paragraph? So let's say that your career episode has 20 paragraphs. So we'll be from 1.1 until 1.20 for career episode number 1. When you're writing your summary statement, and when you are addressing the competencies, and I'm going to show the template of the summary statement, you need to fulfill in the report, in the middle column, why do you believe you addressed that competency? And where in the career episode is the evidence of that competency? So you're going to write in the middle column saying, in career episode number 1, I addressed this competency when I designed the drainage system of the road section, whatever. And it's in paragraph number 1.11, for example. And also in 1.15 and 1.19. So that's for the career episode number 1. In career episode number 2, I addressed this competency when I did this, and that. And the paragraph is 2.3, 2.9, 2.15. In career episode number 3, I addressed this competency when I did this, and that. And it is in paragraph 3.5, 3.7, 3.21. So that's how you actually then use the numbering of your paragraphs. So that's why it's very important that you number the paragraphs. You need to list the reasons why you believe you have demonstrated that competency. And that's why I said it's very important to read the competencies and understand very well. Because if you need to write why you believe you address that competency, you need to understand what the competency is about. And we're going to read some of the competencies, and you'll see that some of them are quite easy, others are not that easy as well. And the summary statement template is in Engineers Australia website. All right, just before I was talking about the structure of the career episode, and the numbering. So the structure, you start with your introduction, which you're going to introduce to the reader, the assessor. Where was your experience? When was it? What company or what subject of university you are writing about. And then the next section is going to be the background. Background, obviously, you have some background information. You're going to be describing what was the project, what was the problem, what was the activity, engineering activity that you're going to describe in your career episode, the objectives of that project, or the objective of that problem solving, the specific activities that you performed, an organizational chart of your company or your project team or your group in your university, and the specific nature of the activity that you did. So that's the background. And that's going to be between 150 to 100 to up to 500 words. And then you're going to go to the body of your career episode, which is your personal engineering activity. In the personal engineering activity, you're going to be writing about what you did, why you did it, how you did it, what resources you used, what technical and engineering skills, competencies, specifications you used, what did you do, and what was the outcome that you achieved. So that's really the body of your career episode, and that's going to be between 600 to sometimes 1,000 words. And in there as well, you're going to include evidences of your engineering work. Photos, pictures, diagrams, calculations, formulas, screenshots of your computer systems, AutoCAD drawings, tables, charts, whatever you used, tests, samples, manuals. If you wrote a booklet, put a screenshot of that booklet there. So evidences of what you're writing in your paragraphs. And then in the end, you're going to do a summary, which is going to be about 150 words. In the summary, you're going to be closing your career episode, saying that in the background, you put the objectives of the career episode. In the summary, you're going to be closing the loop, saying that you've achieved the objective, the results were there, the work that you performed, improved your engineering skills, and those sort of things. So that is pretty much the structure of your career episode: introduction, background, personal engineering activity, and summary. You do that for career episode number 1, then you do for career episode number 2, and for career episode number 3 as well. So I'll show you the template of the summary statement in Engineers Australia website. Just going to share the screen again. So again, you go migrants, you go to migration skills assessment page, you go to prepare application, you go to prepare migration skills assessment application, you open the PDF, and then you go to find, where's the summary statement? Here, summary statement. So let's say they're going to apply for professional engineer category. So professional engineer category, when you click in there, it's going to open the template. So here are the 16 competencies that you need to address. That's for professional engineer. So let's say that you are addressing PE 2.3, application of systematic engineering synthesis and design processes. Okay, and then you're saying that in career episode number 1, I demonstrated this competency when I designed a bridge, let's say. And that is in C 1.3, C 1.8, C 1.15, let's say. And then you're going to write in C2, I demonstrated this competency when I designed drainage system, let's say, just hypothetically. And then here, going to put C2 point, where is that? Yeah, it doesn't allow many here. Is it out? Alt enter, no. Control enter, no. Yeah, you may need to CE 2.5. Yeah. You may need to copy and paste and create your own table because here in this PDF is not allowed. Or maybe if you have a PDF editor, yeah. But that's how you do it. And then you're going to do here in CE3, etc., etc., etc. And that's how you do it. In the middle column, you need to write how you believe you demonstrated that particular competency. And in the right-hand column, you need to, let's see, not CD. In the right-hand column, you need to put the paragraph numbers. And you do that, obviously, for all 16 competencies. But what I said that you need to understand really well what the competency says. For example, PE 1.6, understanding of the scope, principles, norms, accountabilities, and bounds of contemporary engineering practice in the specific discipline. So I think the challenge is, what are the examples that I can use under this competency? Because obviously you need to, when you write here in the middle column, and when you number the paragraph, you need to have a good understanding of what this competency is talking about. So you can then say, yes, I demonstrated this when I did this, this, and that. And the paragraph numbers are there. Because if you reference a paragraph number that has nothing to do with this, obviously the Engineers Australia assessor is not going to deem you competent, because if you're using a wrong example, you're not demonstrating that competency. Okay, that's why I believe the summary statement is one of the most difficult documents. And also here, and it's not a short document, just in the middle column. You see, if you start writing this, etc., and now obviously I was very brief, but usually you are a little bit more complete here. The middle column for each competency usually has about 100 words. And there are 16 competencies. If you write 100 words for each of the 16 competencies, that's already 1,600 words. I think that when I did my summary statement, it had more than 2,000 words, just the middle column here. So it is a complex and difficult document to write as well. So don't underestimate the summary statement. Okay. Yeah, there's an added comment there. It was a project officer in an energy distribution company. I had to do engineering design, prepare bill of material for project plans, supervise projects. Well, if you did engineering design and if you can demonstrate the definition of the ANZ SEO occupation, remember when you choose the experiences, you need to make sure the experiences are according to the ANZ SEO occupation definition. And sometimes the title is project officer, but if the activities that you performed were activities of an engineer, yeah, that's fine. The important thing is that the activities, they relate to a professional engineer, even though the title was a different title, okay? I'm saying this because I've got many of my students that they had a different title, but the activities they performed and it was confirmed by their supervisors were activities of an engineer. Ryan is asking, is it 16 competencies for each career episode or spread throughout all three? That's a good question, Ryan. The booklet doesn't really say that very clearly, but I suggest you and advise my students to cover all 16 competencies for each career episode. So if you're going to write 3 career episodes, you need to think about a career episode that you can cover all 16 competencies in each of the career episodes. And that's why out of my students, all of them, and I'm going to show them tomorrow to you guys, all that applied, they were all approved. So because I teach them how to put together an application that is very strong, very solid, that cannot be not approved if they follow, obviously, the methodology. Okay. All right. So I think we almost there. Yeah, just going back to the PowerPoint again. All right. So summary statement. Don't underestimate the summary statement. Make sure that when you're putting together your summary statement, you do it when you finish the career episodes. Obviously, you cannot prepare your summary statement if you haven't written your career episode. But finish the whole 3 and then do your summary statement. Okay? That's the way that I teach my students. If you want to do 1 career episode and then you do your summary statement and then you add, that's okay. And you just need to do 1 summary statement. You don't need to do 3 summary statements. You just do 1, you cover the 3 career episodes. Yeah, that's the last dot point there. And yeah, this is the previous template from the previous manual booklet, but the competencies are still the same. So there is 6 competencies for the first section, 4 competencies for the second section, and another 6 competencies for the third section. So the first one, and I don't know why it works for some and it doesn't work for others. So I know that I need to stop sharing. But the first knowledge check is true or false. I need to attach copies of my course certificates in my CPD report. So where is that? Where are the knowledge check? Yeah, this one. See if it appears to you guys. Is it showing to you guys? Or? I think it's in the chat, maybe. Not in the chat as well. Yeah, I really don't know why it doesn't it doesn't go there. Yeah, it's not showing up. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't know why it's not showing. That's okay. I'll put the PowerPoint again so you guys can see the the question at least. So true or false? I need to attach copies of my course certificates in my CPD reports. You can put your answers in the chat. While you guys respond, sorry, you can put in the chat the answer. Knowledge check, true or false. I need to attach copies of my course certificates in my CPD report. While you guys respond, true or false, there was a question in Instagram. What if I don't have the addresses of the venues because they were many years ago? Yeah, the venue can, well, you can put, yeah, that's fine. If you don't have it, if you don't know where was the meeting, just repeat. If it was promoted by a company, just put the company's name, and that should be fine. No other question, I think. No. All right. Well, this is false. You don't need to attach copies of your course certificates. Knowledge check number 6. What's Gerson's success recipe in the validation process? I think I mentioned that yesterday, and I didn't mention it today. But the options are, I think, 50% writing, 50% planning, 80% planning, and 20% writing. And the other one, I think, is 100% planning or something like that. So see if you guys remember what's my success recipe in the validation process. Do you remember which one is that? No? Yeah, usually I say it's 80% planning and 20% writing. The better you plan and prepare yourself, better is going to be for your success. Knowledge check 7. Do I need work experience to validate my engineering qualification in Australia? We saw that no, we don't need work experience. You can use, if you want, just your academic experience. Knowledge check 8. Which of the following should you avoid writing in your career episodes? The option was about using the first person. Every time that you write your career episode, remember, as we saw before, the career episode is your own work that was performed by you. So you always need to write in the first person. I calculated this, I analyzed that, I delivered this, I designed this, not we. We as a team, it works when you building a teamwork. But when you're doing your validation process, it's all about you. So, and because it's all about you, it needs to be always in the first person and also in the past, because it's a narrative of the past. The competency, the career episode is a narrative of the past because it's something that you've done already. Remember, competency is something that you've done. If it is something that you did, obviously the narrative needs to be in the past as well. And the last knowledge check, true or false, it is mandatory to address all 16 competencies in each of the career episodes. Yeah, I think there was Ryan that was asking that question. Although it's not mandatory, so this one is false. It's not mandatory to address all 16 competencies. But obviously, if you do address all 16 competencies in each of the career episodes, it's going to make your career episode much, much stronger. All right, you're almost there. Tomorrow, we're going to do the revision of the whole process and important hints and tips to have a very strong and successful CDR application. And then you'll be ready to start planning and preparing your CDR application. So, in terms of the process, we covered all the 6 steps. You know what documentation you need to prepare. You need, you know what sort of what to include in your reference letters. You know what CPD events you can use in your CPD reports. You know what you need to think about in your career episodes. What's the structure of the career episode that needs to be in the past, first person, introduction, background, personal engineering activity, summary. You know that you how to write your summary statement as well. The middle column that you're going to say why you believe you demonstrated that competency, and then in the right-hand column that you're going to number which paragraph is addressing that competency. So you're almost there. Tomorrow, I'm going to be giving you some hints and tips, which is going to help you in your CDR application. And before we finish, I'm going to be drawing the winner of the 15 minutes of free consulting for those that completed the post-it notes challenge. And tomorrow, in live session number 3, I'm going to be giving away a discount of 75% discount of my online mentoring program for those that they do the challenge. Taking a screenshot of live session number 1 yesterday, a screenshot of live session number 2 today, post in your stories, mark my profile, and then write in the comments of the post one learning from yesterday's live session and one learning from tonight's live session. And obviously, you need to be present in live number 3 tomorrow. And I'm going to do the draw for the post-it challenge. So the QR code takes to the post of the post-it challenge. Just need to write a post-it note, put in the fridge, take a photo, put in your stories, mark my name, and then write in the comments of the 75% discount post it done, and that's it. So let's have a look. I've changed the website because yesterday's website was not good. So I've changed it to another website. Hopefully it's going to work. I'm going to open here. Where is that? Just going to share my screen. You guys are a bit quiet. Are you still there? Okay, so this is the workshop website. So you can watch the replay here live. That was a warm up, live number 1. Oh, this is live number 2 today. And you can activate the notification for tomorrow's. And this is the website that I tried today. So hopefully it will work. And the post-it challenge is the comments that done the post-it here. So not many comments, not many people did it. So it's going to be probably easier for you guys, somebody to win. So I'm going to put here post-it challenge. And confirm. So not many, just 2 did, Heider and Isabella. So they gotta be here. If they're not here, nobody will win. They're just 2. I should have put just 5 seconds. Sorry. 2, 1. Isabella. And she did the post-it because I received in my message. But the question is she here? Is Isabella here? No, I don't think she's here. Isabella is not here. So she didn't win. So we'll do it again. Well, the other one then is Heider. Is Heider here? I'll see if she's in Instagram. If she's no comments in Instagram. No. So the other one is Heider. Is Heider here? Is Heider here? No, I don't think Heider is here. Yeah, he's not here, so nobody wins. Yeah, nobody wins tonight's free consulting, but we'll be giving away tomorrow another one. But tonight, nobody wins. All right, so do you guys have any other particular question of today's content? So just remembering that tomorrow, this is what we're going to see. We're going to review the whole validation process to solidify knowledge. We're also going to see hints and tips to prepare a successful CDR application. I'm going to give the 75% discount for the mentoring, 15 minutes free consulting giveaway tomorrow as well. And I'm going to be opening a new group of my mentoring program, Validation Formula. I'm going to explain everything